Timothée Chalamet's Wonka, directed by Paul King, is here and let's talk about it. Going into the movie, I knew what I was going into. This whole fantasy colorful world of chocolate where I knew I was going to get a lot of jokes, a lot of fun, a lot of colorful and joyous ride and some charming faces in Timothée Chalamet and Hugh Grant. And that's exactly what I got from the movie, with a little bit more. The story follows young Willy Wonka, a guy full of dreams who believes he is the best chocolate maker in the entire world. He comes into this city full of hopes and full of dreams but encounters a cartel. A chocolate cartel. This is basically a David versus Goliath story at some level, where our own Willy Wonka is a weak, small guy who is threatened by the cartel. By saying cartel, I am making them feel threatening, but believe me, they are very silly, very silly. The cartel are over the top, silly sometimes and funny as well. Olivia Colman came out of syllabus, by the way, and she did a fine job as well. But beneath all this wonderland and wonderful world, this fantasy world, there were some few undertoning ideas of real life scenarios injected in the story as well. There was this little girl named Noodles who hadn't had tasted chocolate before in her entire life, and she was an orphan. So naturally, as we move along in the story, she makes a pretty good pairing with Willy, and then they take on the world and we get to see what they explore. Now talking about the cartel, guys, there was one guy who couldn't even stand the word poor. Whenever he hears or speaks the word poor, he throws up. And there was this whole real life concept of bribing. The cartel has a corrupt officer on their payroll whom they bribe, but they bribe in what? Guess what? In chocolate. They bribe him in chocolate. And then there was this priest too who commits sins. So basically these all real life things were put into the story to move the story along and just quoted with this silly, charming, colorful fashion, which I enjoyed because it really was a decent change of pace. At last, let's talk about performances. Timothée Chalamet, as expected, he was quite charming with a smile on his face, eyes full of dreams, and he did alright. The other supporting cast members were pretty good too. Olivia Colman came out of syllabus, as I mentioned, and Hugh Grant. Lompa. His bits were my favorite from the movie. Well, that's it from my side. You can check out some other videos on my channel as well and share your thoughts about the movie Wonka. Thank you so much for watching.